Hey, this is Retired Geek Woman with Skyrim SE Retired Slow Play Part 31. And when we were last here, we had been on a mission from the Snow Elf Gelebor to find the 5 wayshrines and to put the ewer in them and get some water out of them. And we were also supposed to kill his brother. And we had spent a good hour and 40 minutes trying to find all of those race shrines. And we had gotten to this area. And Serena, something's not right here. Be careful. We may be in for trouble. Boy, is she ever right. We had finally got to this area here. It's very confusing. And it looked like that there are a lot of Falmer in here. And it was a combination of these huts and ice and glacial areas. And it is a very confusing area. Even if you go to the wiki, it even mentions that this is a confusing area. So I did spend quite a bit of time here, and I am probably gonna cut some of that out for you just because you don't need to see me being lost over and over again. Trying to get to the correct area. So basically, we are still in the Fort Dawnguard, or the Dawnguard download content, where we are trying to stop Serena's father, who is basically an insane vampire who wants to take over the world by some weird prophecy that he says will let him take away the daytime, and therefore vampires be free to roam 24/7 and be able to take over the world. So that's basically what we're trying to do, is stop him. And Serena, don't! You can see she ran right into that trap. I guess there's no real way to make them look for traps, even though they tell us to look for traps all the time. And I also don't see that I can see her health at any given time. It gives me like a flicker on the screen that she was in bad shape, so because she went into the trap. So I just healed her as much as my magic would allow. And I did find something out yesterday I was very happy to learn, is that Serena will remain essential even after we complete the Dawnguard quests line. She will stay essential, which is wonderful. That means that I can't get her killed, or she can't get her own self killed, I should say. She gets in the way a lot of times, and like those traps and things like that. But and that's great, so I don't have to reload and whatever. I can let her heal herself, but then let's say if she got down to almost no health, she bends over and is hiding basically, and she is not useful for me, but at least she won't die. That is something that I did not want to have happen, especially for this playthrough. I don't want to constantly be reloading, so that's also a reason why I play on super easy mode. I think it's very easy is what it says, because that's not what I want to show you, is me in a challenge constantly and trying to I don't need a challenge of the fighting. I'm interested in the storyline. I'm interested in the characters. I'm interested in role-playing myself in this world, and that does not include constantly dying. So if you've not watched any of my videos before, again, the title says it's a retired slow playthrough, and that's exactly what it is. I have a few rules, such as no fast traveling, and I play on very easy mode. I like to play immersively, so I have thank you, Serena, for your crazy, nasty Falmer resurrected guy. I hate it when she does that. Yes, I heard there's a way you can go into the console and cheat it out of it so that she doesn't do that. But actually, sometimes some of the things she resurrects makes me laugh. So because of that, that's totally worth it. So I'll let her resurrect the things that we just killed, and it gives me a little bit of a heart skip a beat when she does that, but that's okay. I can deal with it. So, and sometimes her things that she resurrects are useful. As you can see, this is just a maze of farmer huts and bridges. And, oh dear. When she says who's, oh, we just got lit up with a fireball. When she says, who's there? I know we're in for trouble. And one of the reasons I love Serana. So we got a farmer with some magic who had a ward up. That's what that thing was around that farmer. He had put a ward up. Eventually their magic runs out though, and we can take them out. So no problem. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm checking all these huts. The hawk feathers, I think I read somewhere that hawk feathers can restore health or be used to you can eat them and they restore health, or I think they can be used in potions. And I also believe there aren't very many hawks available. You can shoot them down from the sky, but I'm thinking, okay, if you shoot a tiny hawk from, oh jeez, if you shoot a tiny hawk down from the sky, how are you gonna find it? So anyway, when I saw those hawk feathers, I thought maybe I'll snag those real quick. And again, I'm trying to make sure that I don't miss any of these huts because there are a lot of them. And there's a lot of paths. And I'm also stuck right there. I got stuck a little bit. Like between Serana and her nasty looking resurrected farmer, I got stuck. So I'm just trying to make sure that I check all these areas out. I know that I have to go through all of this area to find the area that I'm supposed to go to. I will be cutting out some of this sequence just because there's so much of it, but I wanted to show you this amazing chest that I did find. I mean, look at all this stuff in here. A spell tomb, a really nice circlet of alteration, and quite a bit of gold. It was like, wow, because most of these chests didn't have that much stuff in them. So I was very happy to find this particular chest and wanted to show you the goodies that we got from it. There was also a table here that had some potions, and there's also this book laying there that is part of a quest, Unknown Book Volume 4. This is part of a quest involved with this whole area, and I found 1 and I found 4. And I don't think I ever went back and found whatever quest this was. So I never finished that part. I don't know that I'll ever want to finish that part because I found this to be a really difficult area. And so anyway, I wanted to show you that there were some books that we had found along the way, and this is one of the places where we found Volume 4. And in the wiki, it mentions that as far as, don't forget to go and find this. So I wanted to show you that because I did find it, although it doesn't make any difference because I'm not going to be able to go back in here and, this is too hard for me, I think. Or at least too confusing for my old... I did want to show you guys that an interesting thing down at the end of where these 2 villages are is a frost giant, and you can see that Serana is running ahead of me and getting up close and personal to a frost giant, which really is not the best idea in the universe. So I'm trying to kill him as fast as I can before she gets up here and gets herself... She says, this won't end well for you. Well, actually, the opposite is true. It doesn't end up well for anyone that wants to get up close and personal to a giant. So I decided to very quickly charge my weapons. And that, by the way, that increases your enchanting when you do that. And see if I can take this thing out. So I got 2 stabs in my hands at the same time, and you can use 2 stabs at the same time. Did you see right there that she vanished? She vanished. And she's not laying dead anywhere. She's nowhere to be found. So I got my healing ready. I was like, okay, I'll go heal her. She's nowhere to be found. So I had to reload this area because I just wanted to show you that. I mean, I don't know where she ended up when she vanished, but she was literally gone from this area. And I thought, well, if I come out at another area, she might show up again. So I actually reloaded this area. I did come back and kill this frost giant because he had so much really good stuff on him. But Serana was gone, completely gone. So I spent a tremendous amount of time backtracking. Then I remember this tunnel that had something down below, And I don't know if this is the way I was supposed to go, but it's the only way I could figure out how to go. And it was a weird one of these huts that had like almost a tunnel, and you could look out through the inn and see there was other things there. Well, I finally just jumped through it, and that got me where I needed to go. So I saved you a tremendous amount of time of me being lost and reloading, hitting up that the frost giant about 3 times, and saved Serana. And so, my gosh, it was really a mess and very, very, very frustrating for me. But I was determined, and I spent time on the wiki, and it was useful. It got me at least to a point where it's like, okay, the only thing I'm missing is a place that I cannot see how to get to. So I remembered that weird hut that had the weird little tunnel looking thing with the little spiky things on the end. And that's what I went through to finally jump down and end up in this place that I had not been to before, which looked like another cave tunnel with things jumping out at me to kill me. So that's where I needed to go. I saw another trap, and it's like, okay, I want to make sure that whatever that is, I hit it with a spell, and it had a rock slide. So the rock slide, I could stand out of the way, and you can see Serena is going, so she's standing right in the way of the rock slide, and it went right down on top of her. It's like, thank goodness, she's essential. She'll come up here in a minute. So that got the rock slide out of the way, and it does hurt you when you jump over the daggone rocks, but I did the best I could, and the farmer pops out of those weird tunnels. Where did he come from? He came from a hole in the wall. So kind of freaky and scary at the same time, but I knew this was the right way, so that's why I'm headed that way. And it's just another tunnel that you're winding around through, but my arrow's getting bigger, so that's how I knew I'm in the right place. This is where I'm supposed to be to do whatever the heck I'm supposed to do. I couldn't tell if she was needing health or not. She was up and walking, so anyway, all of a sudden then I saw the last guy that I'm supposed to see, and I was like, yes, save before something else happens and we get lost again. So that's where we're supposed to be. This is the last wayshrine. I put my hewer in this, and then I don't know what happens after that. But I was never so happy to see one of these ghosty guys, because this is the fifth and final one. So this was kind of a bizarre quest, but it was different and interesting. But I found it to be very frustrating, especially this last part. Because I found this part really hard to see, and maybe it's just my own eyes, or maybe it's my own insecurities and doubting myself. It's like, why would I want to go through a hut and it didn't look like a pathway to me? So Serena's looking at me like, yep, you're right, you're weird. Don't look at me like that, Serena. So I keep saving over and over again. It's like, I don't want to make another mistake. So we're going to draw some water out of it. And it says our next thing to do is gain entry into the inner sanctum. At this point, I don't really know where the inner sanctum is. So I'm kind of checking these different portals that we could go into. And I really wasn't sure where we were supposed to go. At this point, I'm relying pretty heavily on the wiki to get me where I needed to go, because I'd done this part only one other time, and I was very confused, and it had been way too long ago. But I wanted to make sure that I didn't waste your time and get where I needed to go. So I also wanted to check a few of these huts just in case there was something special, or actually the wiki that I had read this part about mentioned making sure that you check out these huts around around this last wayshrine, that there's some goodies up here. So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything super valuable. So I thought, it says take a minute to visit the huts, and I did, and look what I found. All of these wonderful potions. It's like, yes. Not only that, it kind of gave me a frame of reference as I was trying to follow the wiki on how to get to the next part, the inner sanctum. It mentions that. So, it gave me basically my surroundings and where I'm at, and how to how to get where I need to go. So basically, just pulling up my map to see, you know, how far away I am from it. I figure I need to go run down all of this, back down from the bottom from all these huts up here to get down to the bottom so I can find the inner sanctum. And what was funny, something I wanted to show you here is as I ran down really quickly, I look up and there's Serana and she's running to catch up. It's like, come on, girl. And then I see off in the distance, there it is. That's where I'm supposed to go. And I'm like, okay, maybe we better save again before we get lost or screwed up again. So again, I don't really mind so much me getting lost and everything, but I don't like to have you guys get lost with me too much. So I try to minimize that as much as possible. So this is a pretty interesting place, and Serana mentions it herself, that this is a pretty interesting place. And I know that what I'm supposed to do is to go straight ahead. So there is only one little part that I did cut out here. And it was a secret location to find a flawless sapphire. And I needed one for my house. And I had heard that I read that there was one here. It took me forever to find it. So that's kind of a pretty big spoiler. So I just cut it all out. And if you want to write me a PM, I will be happy to tell you where it's at. So I used the water that I collected from the other 5 viewers, and you can see that it went down into those trenches and filled up the water trough at the end of that little area right there, and made this bizarre looking green light. It's like, okay, I'm not going to step into the light. And it also turned the knob on the big door, and that opened up the inner sanctum. And so we are getting ready to go into the inner sanctum, not knowing what the heck is going to happen to us. And this place is pretty crazy. There's all these nasty creatures, and they're all frozen solid. Now, in the world of Skyrim, who's to say they're going to stay frozen? When you walk up to them, they're not showing dead. I mean, it's not showing that a monster that's going to attack you. I wanted to make sure there wasn't chests right there. Sometimes the seats look like chests and chests look like seats, so I wanted to make sure. So I'm coming in here, and so far everything's staying frozen, and my heart is beating so hard. It's like, if all those things come alive, we're in so much trouble. So that's why I was being really super cautious, and I wasn't sure where we were supposed to go. Yes, they are frozen in ice. It was an amazing observation that you made. I don't know how long they've been this way, but it's pretty creepy. And I wasn't really interested in exploring too much in here. Just wanted to get out. It's like, oh my gosh, how do we get out? We can open a door and escape through here, because I don't know what we're going to come across. Who knows? I mean, it's like, ugh, these things are all currently frozen. Ooh, a staff of spikes worth 500. Oh my gosh! And when I took his staff, oh, but look, he exploded so easily. Wouldn't that be great if they all exploded so easily? But that was pretty cool. That was a 500 gold staff. I think currently we're getting about 50% of value right now. So, you know, that's over 250 gold on that staff. I think it's called a vice spike. So it's a decent staff. I have that spell. Yeah, I don't need that scroll. I'll take the gold. I don't know what all we're going to find in here. But we're going to keep going where our compass is telling us to go. And so far everything's still frozen. So, taking a quick look at any of these skeletons, looking for gold or anything else. I mean, I really don't know what is here or what is to find here. I don't know what we're going to be doing. I assume that we're going to find Gelebor's brother and kill him. I think that's what we're supposed to do. Not 100% sure. Gonna figure it out and try to follow our compass That seems to be leading us down this doorway, and it's like, yes, Uriel's chapel. We're supposed to find Uriel's bow, so maybe that has something to do with it. And it looks like we're very, very close. At least it looks like we're close to where we're supposed to be. We might have another door to go through. I have no idea. And this was weird. We came to the end here, and I didn't see a stairway down. Did you? I thought, did we make a wrong turn? It was really strange. We needed to go. It looked like we needed to go through here, but I did not see a regular stairway down. And jumping off is always risky. Not that necessarily I would get hurt, but Serana might not follow me. There's always that risk that she won't follow me. So I wasn't sure. So I went ahead and jumped down, and thought, well, we'll go a little further in here and see what happens. And sure enough, it looks like we located Arch Curate Vythur, whatever his name is. And he's sitting on a throne. Might be a good time to save, because this doesn't look good with all these frozen things standing around. It's like if any of those come to life, we are dead meat. And he seems to be frozen as well. And then suddenly, he's not. And yes, we absolutely were. And I'm trying to get to him, and you can't. He's blocked. Oh, so he had wanted us to bring Serana to him. Oh, my usefulness is at an end? I do not think so. And then some of these, not all of them, get unfrozen. But you can see there's even on very easy mode, there's quite a few. And so I'm trying to take out as many of them as I can and stay alive and make sure that Serana is okay. I don't even know for sure. And so again, if you've watched any of my episodes and there's been any fighting involved, you will know that I'm just not a very good fighter. And I don't think ahead very good. And, it's like, okay, frozen. If they're frozen, maybe firebolts. So I have a staff of firebolts so that when my Bajika runs out, I can use it. So that was useful. And there's more. But I have an awful lot of healing potions and Bajika potions, so we should be okay. As long as we're paying attention. We gotta pay attention. Which I don't do as much as I should. Oh, and more of them are coming unfrozen. Poor Serana's getting surrounded. And they had got her health down to nothing, so I wanted to try to get some of these out of her way, the ones that were attacking her. Trying to leave the frozen ones frozen. I really don't want to cause more of a problem. I couldn't get to that one. In the meantime, this guy's hitting me. It's like, oh my gosh. I can only imagine if you're playing on a much harder level how much chaos this is right here. This section. And I imagine that all of these unfreeze if you're playing on very hard. It's like, great. My weapon is uncharged. But we've got quite a few filled soul gems. And, so it's like, okay, I'm good for now. Don't you attack her when she's down? That's my girl. So I thought maybe I'd go over and heal her and get her back, at least to whatever. And she seems to be taken off. I wasn't sure what she was doing. But at least wanted to give her a head start on her healing. And what I should have done, yeah, there we go. A firebolt spell and a firebolt staff, because we're fighting ice creatures. Get it now while we can. And she's making help noises back there. It's like, oh my gosh. I just wasn't sure if I hit one of these other ones, what would happen. Okay. So apparently we killed everything that he decided to unfreeze, but then he brings down the daggone ceiling. What? This guy is just relentless. And then he unfreezes more of his creatures. And it's like, oh my gosh. So it's okay. We're going to take them out. We can do this. If I don't kill Serena. Serena can't be killed, thank goodness. But she can certainly get hurt. And I hate that she's getting bombarded. But it's like, okay, where is he going? Oh, great. An ancient frost atronach. It's like, okay, what else is going to come at us? Good heavens. Oh, look at him. There's more unfreezing. There's more and more and more. So I'm thinking, okay, let's keep the firebolt staff charged up. And I've got fireballs or firebolt spell and my staff. As long as I keep an eye on my health, which at the time there's so much going on right now, I'm not paying as good attention as I should. I should have been taking more potions. Like, oh wait, let's try to not die after all of that, because I don't think I had saved since we had come into this room. So that had been really dumb. I should have saved in between after we had killed some stuff and the bad guy was rattling on. That would have been a really good time to have saved. But it's like, okay, we got those things taken care of, but the ceiling is still falling down, and Serena is just, she is like furious. Surrender. And he says death first. It's like, okay, what the heck? So all the ceiling goes down, and I hit the ground, and look at her. She cares so much. She says, come on, he's up on the balcony. So she really cares about me, and I appreciate that, Serena, that you care so much. So what the heck's going on? We go up above, and there's another wayshrine of some kind, and Serena runs back up to the top. I mean, she's furious. And there's in the conversation between the two of them here. So she's demanding the bow.
I was the arch-curate of Ariel, girl. I had the
And he's having no part of it.
Until the betrayed corrupted you. Yes, yes.
I think he's hurt. I'm not sure. I don't care. He tried to kill us.
Are easily manipulated fools. Look into my eyes, Serana.
And then we realized another twist in the story. He is a vampire.
But Ariel should have protected you.
The moment I was infected by one of my own initiates, Ariel turned his back on me.
So, a twist.
I swore I'd have my revenge, no matter what the cost.
You want to take revenge on a god.
So it's just really basically watching their conversation here to get basically what happened to him. None of it really matters. He has Ariel's bow, and we need it.
Was the blood of a vampire and his own weapon, Ariel's bow.
The blood of a vampire.
Yes.
Ariel's
So
bow.
he's basically telling her that he has the bow, and he needed a blood of a original vampire, and that's her, a pure vampire, and that's her. She's the daughter of Cold Harbor. So that's what he wanted. He wanted me, the Avatar, the Dragonborn, to bring her here.
Someone with my blood to come along.
And she's not really happy about that.
I intend on keeping it. Let's see if your blood.
I mean, she's furious. And at this point, the fight begins to take him out. And with her fighting down below, me fighting up above, he don't stand a chance, and I get the kill shot. He's gone. It's over. Oh my gosh. And with that, the last way shrine opens up. And with that, we're supposed to tell, oh yeah, we're going to take all of his goodies. He's got a lot of good stuff here. Flawless amethyst, rubies. I mean, he had a lot of stuff. And his armor is really quite good. I mean, I don't like wearing armor of guys I consider bad, but it's really good armor. And here's Gelebor. Yeah, you know what I mean. Gelebor.
The restoration of this way shrine means that Vyrthur must be dead.
That is true. He is dead. And then we have to explain to him basically what's going on. Your brother was a vampire. He was controlling all of them, the bad guys. So And he's like, yep, that makes sense.
The betrayed weren't to blame for what happened here. Because that means there's still hope that they might one day shed their hatred and learn to believe.
Yeah, well, you keep holding on to that belief, buddy.
It's been a long time since I felt that way. It's been long over.
Well, you're very welcome, Gelebor. It was quite the journey.
You risked everything to get Ariel's bow, and in turn, you've restored the chapter. I can't think of a more deserving champion to carry it than you.
Oh, it was just all in a day's work.
I'd be more than happy to help. You've but to ask.
So he just walks off, and there it is. This is what we spent quite a bit of time looking for. Ariel's bow. I suppose if I had been a bow user, that probably would have been a huge moment, and it kind of is anyway. It's something that we need to go on to the next part here, but yeah, we're gonna say right before we have this conversation with her, we need it, and it's important. Oh, it's so shiny, not as shiny, it's still beautiful. We need it. So she tells us what we got to do, and she said, now it's time to face my father.
If we don't, he'll keep chasing us for the rest of our
And she's right. And we just kind of tell her one more time, if we do, he's going to have to die. And she's kind of come to that conclusion too. You know, we don't have a choice. I mean, he's lost his marbles, and he's dangerous. So we're going to have to go do it. And then she's, you know, we're going to face him together and kick in the front door, she says. But she suggests that we go talk to Isran before we go do that. So the next part of our quest is going to be to go talk to Isran. So this has been quite the adventure so far. And you can see our cursor's trying to, you know, it's like, where is it trying to tell me to go? We've got to go through one of these doors here, I suppose, and to get out. And basically, I decided Darkfall. I suppose there's different ways to get out, but this is where my cursor was, or my map marker was telling me to go. And this brought us back to the initial cave where we met Gelebor. And we figured I was hoping that there had been a shortcut out, and there may have been, but I couldn't find one. So basically it brought me back here to this cave, and that's fine. It's not a very big area for us to get out. So that's where we're going to leave it today. I can't wait for our next part. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I appreciate it so much. If you get an opportunity, please subscribe to my channel. I also have a Patreon account, which helps me continue on with what I'm doing. I hope you're enjoying this, but most importantly, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day.